On the outskirts of Bordeaux, France, lies the old Château de la Nuit, the Castle of Night. A relic shrouded by mossy vines, oppressive silence, and the kind of darkness that seems to swallow even the moon. Its silhouette is feared by villagers and avoided after dusk, for its legend is a catalogue of disappearances, ghostly apparitions, and endless sorrow. Leandro, a Filipino history student craving real stories beyond textbooks, arrives in Bordeaux to research the true tale of Château de la Nuit. He yearns to be more than a tourist, so even as locals silently shake their heads at his curiosity, he joins his classmates, Camille, daring but kind, and Pierre, a practical young Parisian, for an early evening journey to the chateau. As they walk the crumbling cobblestone path, it feels colder with every step. Shadows stretch unnaturally long toward the castle's barred gates. The air carries a whiff of wilted roses and, unsettlingly, old iron. Locals mutter that, during the war, the chateau was a place where soldiers and townsfolk would hide. Most never returned, and some nights their pale hands are said to reach from the high glass windows, begging to be remembered. At the iron gate, Camille hesitates. Narinig mo ba yung sabi ng driver? Pag may narinig kang umiiyak, huwag kang lilingon. Pierre laughs it off, but his voice cracks in the stillness. The chateau looms, imposing and heavy. Their footsteps echo as they push open the main doors, ancient groaning wood scraping dust from centuries past. The marble hallway is lined with faded portraits. All eyes seem to track them, expressions frozen in grief, lips tight with unspeakable secrets. In a grand salon, the faint music of a piano echoes, though they see only an old broken instrument in the corner. Camille places a trembling hand upon the keys, but before she can play, the lid slams shut on its own. Pierre's flashlight flickers, Leandro's breath fogs in the suddenly icy air. They follow a spiral staircase down, dust rising as their shoes disturb the long, untouched stones. Here in the basement, darkness thickens, and the air smells of decaying flowers. They find an altar of crumbling stone, melted candle stubs pooled on the floor, and a weeping statue of a woman veiled by cobwebs. From behind the altar, a whisper in French trails through the room. Pourquoi es-tu ici? Laissez-nous reposer. Chilled, they try the stairs back up, but the corridors distort. Each corner they take leads back to the same portrait of a pale girl with hollow eyes. The mirrors they pass now fog from within, handprints trailing down the glass, some small as children, others twisted by pain. A sudden storm batters the windows. The chateau seems to creak and shudder as wind howls and rain pelts the shutters. Somewhere, a woman sobs, a sound that grows until it floods every hallway. Camille, frightened, runs ahead, but as she crosses the main hall, her reflection in the fractured mirror shows a figure behind her. A child, floating, face blank, arms outstretched. The child's mouth opens in a silent scream, the glass cracking in her wake. Leandro and Pierre chase after Camille, but the floors seem to stretch, rooms loop in unnatural angles. They hear doors slam, footsteps echo that do not match their own, and always, always the weeping grows nearer. Pushed to panic, they regroup, huddling beside an ancient fireplace. Suddenly, the room fills with smoke. Shapes swirl in the haze, soldiers in torn uniforms, women clutching infants, a man missing half his face. Their eyes glow with longing, regret, and accusation. Through the smoke appears the specter of Madame Rouette, her face ashen and streaked with tears of blood, a long scar across her neck. She floats before them, bound to the marble by her own anguish. "Release us," she weeps. "Bear witness. You must finish our tale, or we shall never leave." A freezing gust slams them backward. The fireplace flares, wildly illuminating dozens of ghostly hands that begin to reach from the walls, clawing and grasping. The friends run, desperate to escape, but each door leads only deeper into the chateau's memory. Cellars filled with whispered prayers, attics echoing with childhood laughter, later turned to screams. On the edge of collapse, Leandro remembers the legend. Only the living can carry the story of the lost into the world beyond. Together, the friends clasp hands and shout aloud the names seen on portraits, reliving stories from fractured diaries they found. "We see you. We remember. You are not forgotten." A surge of wind rushes through the castle, extinguishing every candle. For a heartbeat, time stands still. Then sunlight breaks through the storm at dawn. The three awaken lying on dewy grass outside the gates, clothes cold and soaked, hearts pounding. They remember little, just fragments of songs, sad faces behind windows, and the feeling of hands both pleading and grateful. From that night on, Leandro dreams often of the chateau. He hears the lullabies of the dead, sees Madame Rouette's tear-stained face in the moonlight, and sometimes feels a gentle touch on his shoulder when he is alone. The Château de la Nuit still stands in shadow. Locals say the curse endures, that the weeping will not cease until every secret has been heard, and that those who enter and survive will be haunted by memories not their own. Each autumn, as the days shorten, travelers claim to hear faint music from the empty castle and see handprints pressed anew to every window, a silent plea to not let the dead be forgotten.